welcome back to the Natural Bodybuilding and Chill podcast with your hosts, Gary Glutes Amlinger. And
Dirk Emmerich.
so, what do
Let's
you think
go.
about Dirk Diggler Emmerich?
Dirk Diggler Emmerich. That's a
Now,
good
have you
name.
seen Boogie Nights?
Boogie Night. I know that movie. It's scary.
No, it's I don't
Boogie
even know what to
Man, I
call it.
heard about.
Maybe I shouldn't say what it is.
I
But
don't
I'll
know.
have you look that up at another time.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, yeah. You might get
Or
a kick out
Dirk
of this
Digger,
nickname once you
like
know.
Alberto. Alberto calls me Dirk Digger Emmerich.
Ah, see, that's very
Digger.
clever. That's a better nickname. Alberto's very smart.
Digger.
Uh, my man has already opened his
Oh,
bottle,
yeah, I did.
but on three, I will crack mine open. One, two,
Two,
three,
two
go.
eats.
Yeah.
There
Cheers,
we go.
brother.
Cheers, brother.
So, in case anybody's wondering why we're not in person, Derek came down with a little bit of a sickness, which he recovered from extremely quickly, but we're just playing it safe. And for this episode number three, we're going to do this on a Zoom call. But next time we should be in person, unless you're going to be in Dubai.
Let me think. We got. No, I won't. This will be exactly the week where I won't be. It will right before my peak week. So perfect timing. Yeah. So this
Okay,
one we should be able
perfect.
to do in person next time again. Yeah. That's
Excellent.
awesome.
So we'll be
Yeah.
doing it most likely at my place next time.
That's the plan.
All right. So
So,
we have way more topics this week, and we're not going to be able to touch on every single one, but we're going to try to get through quite a few of them. So I'm going to let Dirk take the first one. The
yes.
first one of the episode, you tackle it.
All right. Like the first topic is, as Gary already said, like I got sick, and that's a big topic I would like to talk about. Is like especially during a contest prep, like getting sick at 3 weeks out, which is like my old me. If it would be my first ever prep, I would probably like freak totally out of like, wow, I'm 3 weeks out of the show and I'm getting sick, and God knows how well or quick I'm recovering from it. And a big part, especially when getting sick, what I feel is like, if it's like contest prep or off season, is like when it happens in the moment of like accepting it and knowing like, okay, I can't change it now anyway. So the best course of action is accepting it and doing everything in my power to recover as quick as possible. And the main number one thing is the sleep. I slept like 12 hours that night. And from one to the next day, I had fever. I felt bad. I totally recovered. I was only like sick for one day. And I slept like for 12 hours. I was good to go. So sleep is usually the best medicine, getting like micronutrients in, keeping the stress very, very low, and just chilling. And this is all like I know, like that is all in my control. Like those things I have control over. And these are the things like what speed up the recovery. So anything else, like worrying about it, stressing over, just makes it worse because hey, then the cortisol, all of that is higher. And it most likely will make my body like not able to recover as efficient. So that's how I handled the sickness, and that's how I would recommend, even if you're 2 weeks out, like it's even more important to stay chill and collected and calm when that happens to recover quite quick. So yeah, it was an interesting experience because I never got sick during a contest prep. So every prep has its own challenges. Every prep has something different to learn or get through in a way. So how do you deal with sickness? Like when was the last time you were sick?
It's funny you say that because now that I think of it, I've never gotten injured or sick during prep.
That's good.
It was always in the off season, which is interesting because you would think you were more susceptible to getting sick or injured when you're super lean and eating very low calories and you're training all the time and you got everything going on getting ready for prep. So you would think that would be the time where all these things happen. But have you ever gotten injured during prep? And then I'll kind of jump into
Never got an injury during prep, I would say.
thank
Like
God.
maybe
Yeah, let's keep it that
like a
way.
little pain here and there, but never like an injury.
Not a
Yeah,
full injury, thank God.
yeah.
And you won't get injured anyway. So in terms of handling sickness, if I were to get sick during prep, it's going to be the same thing as you, is try to get as much sleep as possible, not be afraid of taking an off day, an extra rest day to recover. We're not going to lose muscle by taking a couple extra rest days. In fact, it might help, expedite the recovery process from training, keeping stress low, like we talked about in the last episode. Always trying to keep stress low, stay relaxed,
Yes.
and get our micronutrients in, keep the vegetables high. The diet shouldn't really change much. We're still going to kind of do the same thing with eating well and everything. Maybe scale back volume when you come back. It depends on how sick you are. For you, I don't even think you would really have to, correct? You probably just jump right into your normal.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
right back into it. Yes, yes. Directly
exactly.
back.
So
Yeah.
that's heavily dependent on how sick, you got, God forbid somebody who gets like COVID during prep, you might need to ease your way back in if you had to take a full week off and you got hit real hard
Oh,
with it. But
100%.
that's heavily dependent on how sick you get. So along the same lines, we're pretty much on the same wavelength with that. So let's move on to the next topic, which is definitely for me because I'm the only one who does neck training. Is
Yes.
what is your experience with neck training? What is the purpose? So my experience is you have to go very light, especially in the beginning of neck training. So if you're just starting out, I highly recommend doing like just, using your head as weight and doing
Mm,
like 20, 30, 40 reps. Build up fatigue. You're probably not going to go to failure just using the body weight or your head weight. Over time, slowly add weight because you could very easily injure yourself with neck training,
that's
direct neck
dangerous.
training. It is quite dangerous. So that's why I tell people
Uh,
they see me use a lot of weight. It took me a long time to build up to it. So I would say that's the main thing. Now, the purpose, just to fill out your neck. I like the look of a thicker neck. I think it looks good with big traps and it kind of completes my
mm,
physique. Now, certain people that I know don't really have to train neck and their neck is rather full. So that works out. Maybe their neck is developed through normal weight training. Some people just grow their neck from heavy deadlifts and things like that. So I was always that person who didn't really have a real girthy neck. And I feel like it just kind of puts the finishing touches on my physique. In terms of exercises, I'm basically doing flexion work. So let's say I have a plate here on my head, I'm lying down on a bench and I'm into flexion, and then you're going to reverse and you're going to lay flat down on a bench facing toward the
and
floor
do
and do
extension,
extensions. And then you could turn to the side and do lateral flexions as well.
like
So
this
those are
way.
really exactly. Yeah, those are the three main exercises I
That's
do.
good.
And I'm really living in the high rep ranges, figure like 15 to 25 reps. And I don't really want to go lower than that because that's kind of where you can get a little dicey with injuries. You don't want to be like
Yeah,
doing 4 rep maxes on your neck. So
yeah,
15 to 25 reps, I'm hitting it twice a week, maybe 2 to 3 sets per exercise, and that's it. So it's funny, actually, I saw somebody training neck at my gym here, which I like never see at all, and he's only 18
yeah.
years old. So I had to like give him props on that. I'm like, that's pretty rare. Not many people are doing that. So he's trying very hard, which is awesome. But yeah, if you want to, give it a shot, make sure you just start out, with the weight of your head and go nice and easy. That's it.
That's awesome. You inspired me a little bit. I might want to try it out my next off season. I was thinking about neck training, even forearm training and tibialis
Ah,
training. Like
yes.
that's also
Yeah.
one thing. Like forearms, especially. I think having massive forearms is looking quite cool. Actually, on
Hmm.
on the view poses. So it's like a little bit of like experimenting, somewhat seeing what
Yeah.
it does. I think it's always a good idea. And yeah,
It, that's interesting. You do have a really good forearm development.
yeah, I think that's
I
probably
I think
also
you
like
do.
from back movements and like from maybe genetic perspective, which is yeah, always plays a
Hmm.
role in a way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the tibialis, it's quite interesting as well. Um, I suppose it could create more of an X frame because it's your tibialis may be coming this way and then a little further out because that's how the muscle is.
True, true,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I'd have to really look at someone who trains it and has a very developed tibialis versus someone who doesn't. But listen, we're trying to max out our physique, right? So when we're advanced, these little things might matter. Who knows?
Might make a difference, and the only way finding out is testing it out at some point,
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
So yeah, good point covered with like neck training. I would say let's move
Very,
on to the next one.
yes.
In this one is, yeah, how to control cravings and hunger during a competition prep. And let me see.
It's a
And
good
ways
one.
to avoid food focus during prep. So those two things, we can combine them.
Yeah.
And I would say like how I personally control cravings and hunger during a competition prep. So first of all, the hunger will be at some point inevitable, where it's like I have to accept it. It's like a part of the process in the way of like getting a little uncomfortable training wise when you have to train hard or things like that. So I like with the hunger at some point I'm accepting it, but I'm also having like a system with it. So it means like if you are fasting for 12, 14 hours every day, you might get a little hungrier compared to like if you have like 3 or 4 like solid meals in a day, a little bit of a structure. So knowing like the parts of the day where you're the most hungry, that you put some food around those times, and
Hmm.
like this can help a lot with like having a good structure. And it works a little different for everyone. For some people it's like, hey, you want to have like, most people like to have like a big meal before sleep, like in the evening, like not too big but some meal. Some people don't like to eat in the morning, then I would like say skipping the morning meal or keeping it very light, like things like that. Of having a good structure helps a lot. And with cravings, what helps me personally the most is honestly like flexible dieting, of like having no things that are forbidden. So whatever I want to eat, I can eat it in a way. So when I feel
Yeah.
like I want to have a Snickers bar, I can have a Snickers bar on maybe not on a low day, but on a high day or whatever it is. So this way, the food focus is so much less, because I think food focus often comes from like, yeah, you forbidden, like for like not allowing yourself to eat something. And that's how it is in life. Like when you can't have something, you want it even more.
You
And I
want.
feel this creates the food focus so much, of like keeping the foods into your diet that you truly enjoy a lot. Like for me, it's sometimes gummies. Like, hey, today I had like here, like some trolley gummies on my high day, like a pack of that. It's like, and this even it's like 270 calories or something. And I just like gummies sometimes. I don't have it every time, but today I felt like it, so I had some gummies. And as long as you hit your calories, the macros, you will be good to go. And this way, it really, really helps with like food focus. And I even feel even hunger in a way of like, I rather like, I feel more satisfied during a prep eating something I enjoy instead of like eating something I don't really enjoy. I'm more hungry afterwards. It's like I'm not as satisfied. So that's why I'm also eating like sometimes lower volume foods, even if I get very, very shredded, because I will be hungry anyway. Like if I'm eating like a high volume food meal, I will be as hungry as if I eat something with lower volume. But if I eat something maybe with lower volume, but it's just satisfied, I like that food more, it will make me feel less hungry afterwards. I feel more satisfied in a way. And there's also a fine line, like obviously of like still having somewhat of volume that you full, but also like not too little. So that's how I manage like hunger and controlling the cravings during a prep, and also to avoid the, yeah, like the food focus, I would say, like a mix of all of that. Yeah, how you do deal with that?
It's a very good answer. So I would say it's trying to get as much sleep as you can will actually lower your hunger
That's true too.
because you'll lower your cortisol levels, which should be, pretty high, especially when you get close to the competition and you're just so lean. So that's important. And for me, you made a great point is knowing when you're hungry and trying to take care of that by having like certain foods that you like and maybe even some high volume foods like like a lot of broccoli and cauliflower because there's like no calories but it'll fill your stomach up, which is so much. It's a bolus of food. It's a lot. So that's a definitely a good answer. The times I don't want to be hungry, number one is probably before sleep. So
Mm.
if I could, you know, not be woken up by hunger, that's a good move because one, we need, sleep for recovery. And two, if I'm not getting good sleep, that's going to make me more hungry. So that's the number one for me. So I will pile a ridiculous amount of volume and a lot of salt and a lot of calories close to bedtime. That's what I've always done. And I feel like I have a pretty dang good like fullness in my stomach throughout the night, like a solid 7 or 8 hours. And it usually, it does the job. The second time I don't want to be hungry is during training. Again, so that's like my biggest meal with the most volume and the most calories, aside from my pre-bed meal, is right before training because I don't want to think about being hungry while I'm training for as long as I train. And we know how long I train for. So those two times are very important. Now, not being food focused, so some people I know watch like a lot of, delicious recipes on
Oh yeah.
YouTube and they just like get involved in it and that kind of satiates their hunger and their cravings. For me, that makes it worse. So I avoid really looking at like all these delicious recipes that people might, look at and kind of like curb their hunger or whatever. That doesn't work for me, but try it. It might work for you. It definitely works for some people. So I would say between those three things, that's how I go. And then diet soda is another one. Like some people will drink
Oh,
diet
I just
soda,
want to mention that. Yeah.
yeah, and they'll be way more hungry. For me, drinking diet soda quells my hunger a lot.
Same for me.
It
Same.
it does, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it fills my stomach up with bubbles because of the carbonation. You combine that with all your vegetables and a lot of food, and I feel fuller. So yeah, that's my those are my tactics.
Yeah, same with for me, like with the diet drinks. And one thing to mention here as well with like the higher volume foods, like the vegetables, the diet drinks, they help definitely a lot, but we got also like gotta be aware of like not overdoing it too much. Like I saw people who eat like a
Yeah,
kg or two of vegetables a day or drinking honestly no water, like 5-6 liters a day of diet sodas, like 30 cans or something.
that's more than me.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, and this
Does it work
way,
for
I
them?
think it's bloating them up.
I mean, do you think they'd be better off not ingesting that much and they'd be better off, like these specific people, or
I think with the vegetables for sure, because I think too much fiber and all of that, and your digestion gets a hit because like
yeah,
having so much vegetables to digest is also a stress for the body. I think
yeah,
with the diet sodas, though, it doesn't make too much of a difference. I on like I have periods during prep where I have also like 3 liters of diet soda on some days, and I feel fine. Like
right.
like
How's it,
in a
how's
way of
your gas situation? Do you feel like it gets a little too much with all that soda or no?
it's fine if I combine it with like non-carbonated sodas, with like iced teas or stuff. This is like for me, it's just like like flavored water then at some point. Like or having
Right.
like zero like diet Powerades or diet getaways and things like that.
Yes.
It's for me like
Right.
just flavored water. So for me it is fine. But for other people it might mess with digestion. So you need to see of like how you feel with that. But like yeah, but again with also the volume food and stuff, like not overdoing it of like eating 2 or 3 kg with salads and stuff, where this is just bloating you up so much, where the negative side effects are also too big. So I think there's a sweet spot of like having still volume food, but not way too much, also not too little. Having that sweet
Mm,
spot, I think, is like a good thing for most. Yeah,
it's a great point. We
I
really
think
covered that topic. That was a good one.
a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one, I'll take this. People want to know about socializing during your training sessions. So it highly depends on the training phase I'm in. So, for instance, if I'm 2 months out, 3 months out, even from competition and even closer, it becomes vital that I focus even more because that's when you can get hurt. Okay. So, we're still lifting heavy. We're still keeping our compound lifts in there. I still do heavy deadlifts leading up to comp. Like I really don't scale back much. So that's when, I really need to put the blinders on and focus. It's heavily dependent on the exercise too. Like I said before, Romanian deadlift with 430 pounds or whatever. I need to be locked in. I need to be in the zone. And if I'm not, it could spell disaster for my entire prep. So, which cannot happen. So I almost want to, I was thinking about this actually not too long ago, just like mentioning to the people that I really care about in the gym, saying, listen, like when I get close to comp and you see me focusing, don't take it personal. It's just me really locking in. I have a lot of love for so many people in my gym. So I didn't do that really in any other prep, but I think this prep I will. I believe I'm going to do that. So just to make sure, because not everybody knows, what we're doing. Like if you're
or
not
how
in
you
the
feel.
game,
Yeah.
oh yeah, 100%. Pretty much all of humanity doesn't know how it feels to hit our conditioning and
Yes.
how real it gets. So I try to keep that in mind and let the people that deserve a explanation give it to them. I think that's a right way to go about it. But during the off season, I even during normal cutting phases, I love socializing in between sets. I'm already taking 2, 3, 4 minutes in between sets.
Mm.
I mean, I don't need to just stare at myself in the mirror for 4 minutes straight. You know what I mean? And in fact, it calms me down when I talk to like good people. Like I have so many good
Yes,
people at my
same.
gym, and it brings your spirits up and it's positive. And you see, maybe you go spot your friend and you're cheering him on, and it's just like a
Yes.
good positive vibe. So I really do enjoy that. I have no problem with it, but there was a time in my life, maybe like 10 plus years ago, where I just never really talked to anyone.
Mm.
Going back, I'd be like, that wasn't needed. But again, we're all learning, we're all in different stages of our journey. So when I see someone like maybe really focusing and not talking to anyone, like out of the blue, I'm like, I get it. Like, let him do his thing. You know what I mean? So
100%. Because we've
that's
been
my
there as
take.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
In a
exactly.
way.
We've been there.
Like we've been there for sure. And like for me, it's the same thing with like contest preps. Of like, yeah, the first prep, I was like at the point where I wasn't even saying hello to people anymore. Of like I was so focused. I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I do my thing. Like I want to look like a psychopath so that everyone is scared to talk to me almost. Of like, I just don't look anyone in the eyes. I do my thing. And yeah, and the second prep we got much better, and this prep way better yet again. So I feel like it's even helping in a way, and it's depending on the movement. Like you said, like on an RDL, I'm more focused in between sets. But then if it's like some side delt, arm movement, or lying leg curls, things like that, I can have still a chat with people. But getting towards end goal elite conditioning, and it's depending on the day. It's so depending on the day. So if I have a very rough prep day, I won't be able to talk as much. If I have a high day, I feel good after high days, I will be more so able to talk. And I think, like you said, it's quite important to communicate that to people you care about and or you are usually talking with, so they understand. Because people who are not into bodybuilding and they don't know what you're going through, they just think, okay, this guy is shredded, he's probably dieting a little bit. He probably feels fine, but they don't understand how you actually feel. And that's also a thing of like new clients who never did the contest prep. The same thing. They don't understand what they are getting themselves into, and it's the same. It's even more so the thing with people, regular people at the gym. They think like what he's doing is like he's probably talented, he's gifted, he's like just doing a diet, he feels fine, but they don't know. They don't know. And we expect that they do know. And that is like our mistake. So if we expect the people know it and we get mad at them because they get mad at us, it's actually our mistake, I think. So we should take responsibility with that of like being annoyed in prep if like people keep on talking to us because they don't know better. They don't know. So
I mean, you nailed it. That's
yeah.
exactly how I feel. So, would you ever, so you consider maybe talking to the people that you do converse with, like, listen, I'm close to competition prep. Don't take it personal. I gotta focus.
that's what I do. Like when I have
Yeah.
like when I get very close to competition, and people I know talk to me, I'm like, hey, sorry man, I can't talk right now. I'm getting very deep into prep. I have a very hard time, and please, yeah, like I just can't talk right now. And everyone gets it usually, and then they like stop for the period, and then after prep you're cool with each other again. But I think it's important to just telling that, like communicating that, instead of like just out, then people take it personal. They think like, why is he so
Yeah.
weird to me out of nowhere, or so cold or whatever. Yeah.
You're so right. So yeah, this prep, I'm gonna make that happen. And yeah, because you don't want to like as much as we're there for ourselves, everyone's in the gym for themselves. They're trying to make themselves better, whether they're an athlete or they just want to
Yeah.
be healthy. It's good to let people know so they don't think you just, are a sociopath and just turn your emotions off.
Because we become very animalistic during a prep as well. Because if you don't tell them
Oh,
early
yeah.
enough, we become so animalistic of like where we don't care if we hurt people's feelings, because we are starving to close death. Like our subconscious doesn't care if we hurt someone's feelings in a way. That's why we become
It
so
gets to
cold
that
during
point.
prep at some point. Yeah, we
You're so
become
right.
very animalistic, and telling that probably before that animalistic part kicks in is smart, I think,
Yeah,
in a
we're
way.
gonna make that happen for sure.
Yeah.
This your prep and then mine. It's funny because I reached like 204 and my stage weight in 2022 was like 196, 197. So I was feeling that, and I still am because I'm still 204, even though I'm eating almost 4,000 calories a day. I don't know if I have a tapeworm or I don't know what's going on,
Oh,
but my body's just like, I don't know. I'm shocked at it. But anyway, so I hit that level and I'm still kind of at that level, even though I'm eating more food. It's getting better with more food, but that chippiness and that just aggressiveness is just it's there because your body wants to fight for food. That's what it's telling you. It's like it's your adrenaline's going and like yeah, I mean, you're like a starving wolf, basically, just hunting for food, and your animalistic drive just takes over. So you nailed it on that one. That was great. So we actually only have 5 minutes left because we're on a Zoom call, and I
yeah.
have roughly 30 minutes total, somewhere around there for a call. So we're gonna do one more topic. I'm gonna let Dirk take this
A
over, and then
quick
we're gonna
one.
end it there.
That's the plan. All right. The next topic, let's do the one with, I would say, with the eating out type of topic. Like that's a good one. Like eating out during the prep. That is one thing I do in this prep the first time ever. My previous preps I never ate out really, but this prep I ate out a few times, and that is like one thing as well. Like I not only want to make every prep like fixing some things, making some things better. I'm also trying to be a little more relaxed each prep. Like I feel like the more experience you get, the more you can live a quote unquote normal life while prepping. So this includes maybe traveling during prep, eating out during prep, doing social activities during prep. And the first prep, I probably wouldn't recommend that too much. I think there we need to be a little more extreme, and the more experience we get, the more we can do those things while even getting a better end product by having less stress in a way. Like for me personally, like if I want to eat out like with friends or socialize and I can't do it, it's a little bit of a stress of like, I really want to do it, but I can't do it. So yeah, like tips when it comes to that, I would say it's like picking smart options. So this means like, hey, like if you let's say at a sushi restaurant, like picking just nigiris, like salmon nigiris, salmon makis, very easy to track, very easy to estimate. If it's a different restaurant, like you can pick some plain chicken with plain rice, some salad on the side. And I probably wouldn't pick something with a lot of ingredients. So the least amount of ingredients it has, the safer you are. Another thing as well is like adding 10% on top of what you estimate. Even if a restaurant offers macros and calories, put another 10% on top. So I would say if the restaurant says, hey, this has 700 calories, I would probably track more so towards 800 just to be safe, because the restaurant doesn't care about hitting the exact macros. It's a rough estimation. I think like, hey, if the restaurant says it's 700, it is around like plus minus 10%, I think, but not exactly that mark most likely. And that is like from where I would go when it comes to like eating out smart options. And depending if you're like very low on calories, you should probably pick like a salad or something, maybe even with the dressing on the side as well. That's a smart option as well, just a salad with a dressing on the side. So picking the smart options and with least amount of ingredients, and yeah, and then like eyeballing it in a way. And that's also the thing, when you are at home, you roughly know what like 100 grams of like cooked chicken looks like, or 100 grams of cooked rice going to look like, and then you kind of like, yeah, like estimate it. So that is like how I would go about, yeah, eating out and limiting it. Obviously not eating out every day, like really like maybe one maximum once a week or every 2 weeks, like really like keeping it very special for like special occasions and not doing it too often. And then you will be good to go. If you do it every 2 or 3 weeks and you off by 200 calories, at the end of the day, the average of, if you 200 even over, doesn't make a difference, I would say. So that's how I like to see it as well. That's my
That was
take.
real good. I'm
Yeah.
not going to add much to that because you covered everything. So the best places to eat that has macros, I mean, cookie cutter places, honestly, it's like McDonald's, like a
McDonald's,
fish fillet.
perfect, dude.
You're not, a fish
Burger
fillet is
King.
so simple. There's like 4 ingredients and it's a carbon copy. It's a carbon copy. So it's not the highest quality food, but look for places that have, like you said, simple ingredients. There's not a bunch of, like 10 different, 15 different ingredients in there. And
Yes.
you should be good. Sushi's excellent. That's like my
Sushi is the
number one.
best,
It's
especially
my
if you want to
number
have
one.
something of like, if you want to go like higher quality, if you go there with your girlfriend, you probably don't want to go to McDonald's, but like sushi is always super go to. Yeah, man.
Excellent. All right, so
All right.
this call is about to end. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We'll be recording episodes every 2 weeks, so send in your topics to Dirk's Instagram or mine, and we'll see if we can get you in on the next episode. This is the Natural Bodybuilding and Chill podcast with Gary Glutz Amlinger and Dirk Emmerich. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.
See you in the next one. Bye bye.